Hello and welcome from San Francisco. I'm in my hotel room after spending a day at the California School Board Association Annual Education Conference. Actually, I think it was a really good day. Sometimes these conferences can be hit or miss. You go to sessions and they teach you stuff that you think you know already or you do know already. Or you go to a keynote and it's just like rah rah or it's boring or something like that. But I think today was actually pretty good. One of the boards that I'm on, we're looking into the option of turning it into a charter school as a way of getting funding because we've lost all our funding from the state where we used to get our funding from. So I went to a couple sessions today on charter schools so I could learn about it. The perspective they have here, because this is for school board members, the first one was, more the if you're if you have a charter in your district, the kind of things that it needs and management and all that. And the second one was more, again, if the charter's in your district, things to watch out for, management, because the charter school is inside your district. They report to you, they have to be created by you or created and approved by your district and all that. So a lot of the warning stuff is pretty scary, actually. We don't have to worry about it for what I'm trying to do. But it sounds like the issue, and charter schools are very polarizing. It's interesting that people seem to either love or hate charter schools. There doesn't seem to be a lot of middle ground. Um, what I seem to see on the dislike side is when charter schools have been created for profit, basically. I think generally they have to be owned and operated by a nonprofit, but it doesn't mean that the school is totally nonprofit because what they do is they set up entities or they pay themselves. There's a lot of self dealing that has gone on. So, what they call the so called bad actors in the group, um, they've given them a pretty big black eye. Um, when you start off and you've got one charter school being run by a group of parents, there's no big deal. Yes, the school district that they're in loses money, and that's why school districts don't like charters because the money that would normally go to the school district is going to the charter, but the money is going to educate the kids. So as long as you are educating kids and the idea and the reason for this charter school is kids, if that's your goal is do what's best for the kids, I really don't have a problem with it. If your goal is to make money and not and your secondary goal is the kids, that's where you start to run into conflicts and issues. Some of the examples they gave were schools where um, the structure was so obfuscated you really couldn't tell who owned what, and you had the person in charge hiring themselves and setting their own salary. There's other examples where the person in charge chooses the board. What normally happens in a public district is the Board of Education is elected by the public and they then hire a superintendent. And what they're talking about here is that these charter schools, the CEO is the equivalent of a superintendent, and they choose and appoint their board. And if they don't like what their board is doing, they get rid of their board. And that's where you really get into some problems. But what I was able to do was get some information. Um, we're looking for something a little bit special. We don't think, our lawyer in fact advised us that there is no way to do a charter in the way that we do it because a charter needs to be comprehensive. It needs to be able to teach everything: English, math, science, social studies, as well as electives. And what we're looking at is the elective side, specifically career tech ed. And what that means is everything from cosmetology to, I'm going to say auto shop, but it's really, automotive electronics, automotive transmissions. It's more advanced than what you might be thinking of as auto shop. Um, Dental, medical, computer security, computer programming, architecture. We've got all sorts of things that are in the career tech ed. Oh, forgot I think probably the most lucrative out of all of them, welding. There's a great welding program. HVAC, electrical, plumbing. So, all the trades are generally covered, as well as some of the new media, which is what we're trying to get ourselves into. But without funding, it's kind of hard to do that. And so the idea is if we could become a charter school, which means changing the law to allow us to become a charter school and not be competing with the comprehensive high schools in our area, then that's one way of going into it, and that's what I was planning on doing. I found some information out today that there may be an alternative that exists in the law. So I've been given some code to go look up. I've got some number, it's like, oh, 4537.2. So I've got that, whatever that number is, I've got it written down. I'm going to go read the education code and see if what's there will work for us. Because if so, then we can not have to deal with writing law. Otherwise, my next 2 years would probably be spent helping write and pass legislation to allow this to happen, where the first year would be a whole lot of work and a lot of failure because nothing ever passes the first time. And the second year would be based on the first year, this is what's going on and this is how we can do it and this is how we can get it to pass. And if we're lucky, we get it to pass. And if it doesn't pass, then, all bets are off and we got some issues. But that was my day, and I will talk to you again later.